Hey guys, my name's Hyper. Today I'm going to show you guys how to get a day 3 Fenrir kill. This video is aimed at people that want to get into speedrunning, but there's definitely a lot of tricks that you guys can pick up if you're just a casual gamer and you want to get a bit better at the game. A little bit of background information about myself. My PB is a 26:11, which is like a mid to late day 3 game. The current world record is 25:58 by Wasabi, and both of those runs I just mentioned were in version 1.1. Now the mid-season update is out. I currently have a PB of 26:22, and that's the run that I'm going to show you guys today and kind of just run you through that as it plays, and just commentate over it. So yeah. Let's get into it. Before we start that video, first thing we're going to talk about is what you need to set up pre-game before getting into a run. So I'll go through that now, and then I'll switch over to my PV video, and we'll go from there. Just one thing to note, I am doing this all in one take, so there may be some errors and things like that, but I'll try and do the best I can for you guys. Okay, so first thing is settings. There's nothing too special in settings to fix up. This screen shake feature I like to turn off because it's just so difficult to do the Fenrir fight with it on. Your screen just shakes like crazy. It's pretty rough. In display settings, I don't know if this makes a difference. I figure the harder your computer's working, the less frames you're going to get. Depends on your setup as to whether it can handle it. Just make sure that your frame rate limit is unlimited. That plays a big part. If you have a PC that can display a lot of frames, you're actually going to save time when you're doing upgrades, like on the villages and on the bridge and that sort of stuff. Your souls that you pour in will fill up quicker, so that's an important one. Other than that, I just switch everything off to try and make my PC work a little less and hopefully save some time there. That's really it for that. In keybinds, I do play with controller, even though I'm on PC. But it's just important to note maybe where a couple of your shortcut keybinds are. I have my blessings set to right control, so I can get to my blessings a little faster and activate them a little quicker, because there is no shortcut key on the controller. Let's go into customize quickly. In accessories, the first thing you're going to need to know is this starter kit, the Feral starter kit. This is like the beginning, the very first thing you need in speedrunning. So the reason is it's the nothing to hide rune that you get with it, and that basically gives you an extra 30 damage per empty armor slot. So we play this run without any armor whatsoever, because we end up outputting an extra 150 damage because of this rune. The hammer also helps as well, because we start the game without tools. We use the hammer to chop down stone deposits and things like that until we get tools. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it for that. Just one thing to note, if we jump into rewards quickly and slide this along, the Feral starter kit you unlock in the battle pass at level 22. So if you're lower than level 22, it's going to be really hard to get a good time in speedrunning, but you can definitely start without it and try and just do the best you can. But this is a big damage output. You really need this rune to get a pretty solid time in speedrunning. Let's back out quickly and we'll jump into progress and talk about a few things. Let's talk about the class that you're going to play with. The best class for speedrunning is Warrior. The reason is, again, it's all about high damage in speedrunning, to make the run as fast as possible. So if we go into the Warrior class, the first thing you're going to unlock is the double hit. So you're basically doing an extra attack every second hit. From there, I like to do the 10% extra axe damage. Again, getting more damage as faster as possible speeds up how long you're in fights. Therefore, you're getting through areas faster. You'll then go into the 4th mana bar, which comes into play later game, but you obviously need it to get anything else in the skill tree. And then I go into another damage booster where my last combo attack is an extra 50%. So those are basically my starter blessings. I then go into the Reckless Roll. The Reckless Roll is really useful in temperature based biomes where you cop temperature damage. you can actually spam the roll button to avoid some of that temperature damage. I think it's every second tick of damage that you'll get the invulnerability for. So you can stay alive a little bit longer. It's important to know that rolling is ever so slightly slower than running, except when you're on a speed potion. So only use it when you really need it in those areas to save your health. Basically after that, I'll then go to the two mana booster blessings, the 25% and the 50%. And then as I get into Fenrir, I've usually got one blessing left. So I'm usually level 9 going into the Fenrir fight, so I miss out on one extra blessing. But I take this one. A lot of people like to do the self-revive. The reason I don't is because in solo, Fenrir is usually going to kill you. He's got nothing else to target, so you don't have that time to get the self-revive off. And because I'm not getting it any earlier in the run, there's no point. So I like to go for this one, where if my weapon breaks during the middle of the fight, I retain that mana that I have. And it's a very minor thing, but every little bit counts. So that's the way that I play Warrior, and I recommend everyone else playing as well. Let's back out, and we'll jump into recipes and talk about some of the things in here. The weapon of choice in speedrunning is this one here, the Raider Axe 3. Its damage output is absolutely insane. For a rare weapon type, only tier 3, it does an insane amount of damage. And it's very easy to craft as well. On its own, the weapon isn't that strong, but what's so good about it is its swirl ability. That does just a ridiculous amount of damage. As you'll see in the run, you'll never go back to any other weapon type once you give this a go. So just to talk about how to get the Raider Axe, I get 2 of each weapon type, because one will usually break in the Fenrir fight. So the Raider Axe 1 just costs 4 stone, really easy to get, so I need 8 stone for 2 of them. Then into the Raider 2, I just need 6 wolf teeth to get 2 Raider 2 axes. Then finally the Raider Axe 3, a total of 10 wolf teeth and 4 silver. And then I'm done. I've got my weapons, I don't need anything else after that. We talk about tools really quickly. We don't bother with lumber axes. There is no need to cut trees in the run at all. So it's better to not buy one, so that if you're accidentally pressing your interact button, you're not wasting time cutting trees. We do go for the pickaxes though, because we need to cut a lot of stone. So let's look at our pickaxe. So the first thing you do at the start of a run is look for just one pile of branches anywhere. Sometimes you might get lucky and chop down a tree with your hammer slam and get the branches that way. But you need 3 branches, and 1 pickup will always cover that. You also need 2 flint, which is easy enough. You're picking up flint throughout the whole run anyway, so that's fine. Into the stone, and you need 3 stone for that pickaxe. Then the last upgrade I get for my pickaxe is the silver pickaxe, and that's just 3 extra stone and 2 silver. I don't bother upgrading to the next level because it needs 5 cutstone, and cutstone is very valuable in the speedrun, so there's no point trading off that just for another upgrade in your weapon. So we stop at the silver pickaxe here. Let's jump into the runes very quickly, and I'll talk about some of the ones that are game changers in a run. Obviously it's very RNG dependent, so you don't know what you're going to get in a run. Sometimes you get really lucky, sometimes you don't get anything. But let's talk about what the ones that are worthwhile doing. I'm going to skip over the ones that do nothing for a run. Ire of Thor is, it's okay. It gives you an extra 15% damage against the Jotun, so that saves you a little bit of time. Not for speed is quite nice, especially if you find it earlier. Just increases your movement speed at night. Try to get yourself into positions where you're not going to be stopping too often when it's nighttime when you have this, so that you can cover more ground and save some time. What else have we got? Like a Dwarf has had a really big buff since the mid-season update. So it used to be only 50 armor underground, now it's 150. And the lair where you fight Fenrir is considered an underground area, so you basically got 150 extra armor on when you go into the fight. And that can be the difference in a run. You can stand there and take a lot more damage with this rune equipped, and when you have 2 of them, you take almost no damage. So this is a really good rune to get, especially if you get it later game where it's not clogging up one of your items, your rune slots. What else have we got here? Lucky Loot's okay, but it's nothing really special that I'm going to talk about. Cold Blood, same thing. You can look into that. These runes are all okay. Blessed Hands is a nice one. Extra XP earlier, so you're leveling up. You're getting your blessings a lot quicker. So you're getting stronger, faster. I really like that one. If I end up with Heat Stroke, I try and go through a desert biome if I need to get through it, actually during the day, and I take that damage so that I'm moving faster. Obviously, I need the potions to make that work, otherwise I just take desert areas during the night time. Anything else in this? No. Okay, so this is obviously the big one that I talked about, Nothing to Hide. I talked about this earlier, so I'm not going to go into it, but sometimes people ask the question, does this rune stack? Yes, it does. So if you find an extra Nothing to Hide, you got double Nothing to Hide, you're then doing 300 damage output on every single hit that you do. So that is absolutely massive. One thing in order for you to tell whether a rune stacks or not is it'll be in square brackets. The best example I can give is Cedar Weaver. So see how medium is in square brackets? That means that the median damage stacks, but the 30% is not in square brackets. So that chance, that probability of actually happening does not increase. So it's always a 30% chance, even if you have 2 or 3 Cedar Weavers. But the medium damage actually stacks, so the damage becomes greater. So anything in square brackets means it stacks. Pumped Up is a nice one to have. When I have Pumped Up, well, most of the time, especially before I get my Raider Axe 3 and I start using the ability, I don't really use mana at all. So having Pumped Up early game is quite nice. It makes me a lot stronger early game. This is a useless rune for the Fenrir fight, though. You won't have full mana gauge in Fenrir. Cedar Weaver I just talked about, but yeah, that's another great rune. It says medium damage, but honestly, the damage output feels like it's very high. It's a great rune to get. And Soul Powered is another one. If you find Soul Powered, really try to farm as many souls as you can. This rune has the potential to be better than Nothing to Hide, but the way that a speedrun typically turns out, you don't have enough souls for it to have the same equivalence as Nothing to Hide. It takes 3,000 souls before it becomes as strong as Nothing to Hide, and then anything above that, it's stronger. So that's pretty much what you're looking at. So this is another great rune to get, especially if you can end up with a lot of souls. It'll save you a ton of time. Might of Mjolnir, that's another good one, especially forest biomes where they're weak to thunder. That's another great damage output rune. But you can tell a lot of the runes that are good for speedrunning are ones that apply extra damage. Anything else here? Just Ragnarage, and this is a scary one to get, but at higher level speedrunning, you're really happy to see it. So it's 20% extra damage. When that stacks with Nothing to Hide and even double Nothing to Hide, the damage output is insane. You have to keep in mind though that your enemies also get the extra 20% damage. So Fenrir typically becomes like a one-shot on you. If he does any damage, you get absolutely smashed. So you got to be really careful with this one. And again, it does stack as well. So it's a fun one, but it's definitely a run killer as well. So those are the kind of runes we're looking out for during a run. If we jump back into the battle pass quickly, some of those runes that I mentioned are actually unlocked in the battle pass. You can see like a Dwarf is here. Blessed Hands at level 19. Pumped Up at 23, and so on. So you'll see that there's a lot of them. I think Ragnarage is right at the end. Yeah, so 47. So you won't have Ragnarage till right towards the end of your battle pass. So keep that in mind, that there's things that you'll have to unlock. And in the shop as well. The two things in the shop that... the two things that you essentially need in a run is the Nothing to Hide starter pack and the Raider Axe 3. The Raider Axe 3 is in the Essentials shop for, I don't know, like 10 horns or 5 horns or something like that. And those two things are a must-have to really proper speedrun. So keep an eye on the shop. This cycles every day, so you just have to keep an eye on it if you don't have it already, until you can unlock that. Other than that, I think that's everything I need to cover about, before you start a run in the general knowledge. So what I'm going to do now is switch over to my PB run, and I'm going to commentate that. Okay. So let's get into this. I've turned the volume right down on this, just because I'm talking in it because I'm streaming. So I didn't want to be trying to talk over myself. So the volume's very low, so you won't get a lot of the sound effects and that sort of stuff. But I'm going to be talking most of the time anyway. So let's get into it. So the very first thing to note here is you want to be checking your minimap as soon as you spawn. And the idea is to try and go in some kind of northern direction. Reason being is this is the furthest north you're going to spawn anytime you're at the village. So you want to take advantage of that and get to a northern location. Keep in mind the quarry is just to my northeast. I really want to leave that direction unexplored because I want to get to the quarry at some stage and I don't want to have to make a trip out there and then have nowhere to go afterwards. So try to avoid that path, but yeah, definitely try and take a northern direction if you can, to take advantage of your spawn point. While you're starting the run, as I said, the first things you're looking for are those ingredients that you need for your tools and for your weapons. So you need the branches, the flint, the stone, the wolf teeth, and all of that stuff. You're also looking for camps to get yourself souls. We only play around in forest camps because they're the quickest, they're clear, and they're pretty safe as opposed to the other biomes. And the last thing you're looking for are the little ramps that you can see there on the minimap next to the quarry. They sometimes have barricades, and barricades drop the materials that we need in order to build the quarry and build the bridge. That's the cut stone, the wrought iron, the wooden boards. We need all that stuff, so we're really trying to look through as many ramps as possible to get those materials we need for the quarry. So as you see, I'm just moving through here, and immediately I'm just looking for flint, one pile of branches if I can. I'm straight into this camp, so I just clear this. You'll see here that this says, the treasure says here there's level 1. Level 1 treasures always mean that you get a health 1 potion out of it. Level 2 treasures, always a health 2. Level 3, health 3. Simple as that. As soon as you level up, you go straight into warrior. And out you go, heading towards the barricade. There you go, got my branches. I don't need any more branches now, I've got my 3. So you'll see the mats here that I get from the barricade. And as I said, this helps me. I'm trying to get the quarry up as quickly as possible, but I'm not sacrificing, movement or exploration to get it. Getting the quarry up around the 10-minute mark is completely fine. You don't need to rush the quarry. So while I'm exploring here, throughout the entire run, I'm looking for stone and flint. The thing that kills runs the most is you're short on cut stone for the bridge, so you really need to farm for it as much as possible. So what I'm looking for here is, again, the barricades, the camps, and I'm looking to get to my first fast travel, or my shrine. As soon as I get to my first shrine, I'm going to make my first trip back to the village, do some upgrades, and get the tools I need. The quicker I can get rid of this hammer with the axe that I want, the better. And I don't think I said it before, but axes have the fastest attack speed, so I want to be on an axe as soon as possible, because this hammer is just slow in fights. So you can see I've gotten really lucky in this run so far. Both my first 3 ramps have all been barricades. That's not always the case. It's so random, such RNG to whether or not you get a barricade at a ramp. Sometimes you get really good runs like this, where it's almost every ramp you go check. And then other times it feels like it's none of the ramps. And those runs are really hard because you really have to grind on the stone to make sure that you're okay for mats. So you can see here, I just do some quick map checks to make sure I know where I'm going. I hate that I see this glacier here. I don't want to go into a glacier right now with the health, with the HP that I have, and the little amount of potions that I have. So I'm trying to avoid it at all costs here, and I get bailed out pretty good with a shrine that will take me back to my first village trip. So I'm going to pause it in a second here when I get to the village, and I'm going to explain what you need to look to be doing in your I call it Village 1, which is your first trip back to the village. Okay, so the first thing that you would have seen that I would have done there, or I actually haven't done it yet because I'm just short of leveling up, but every time you do a fast travel and you're in that fade out screen, try and apply your blessings. It's the best time to do it because you're not wasting any time stopping and doing it. On a controller, it's really easy. You just memorize the inputs that you need to tab across to get to the blessing you want. Mouse, you kind of need to memorize the spot on your screen where it is. So that's the first thing to look to do. Now, when I get to this village, I've always got the same route that I do every time. So I go to Tinker, and I level up Tinker to level 2. That costs 250 souls. I then get my flint pickaxe, and then upgrade it into a stone pickaxe. Then I head towards the quest board and check my quests. And I'm looking for a quest from Eva. Eva is the quest person that is always located in a glacier biome. So if I have a quest from Eva, I've already got a 50-50 chance of finding the bridge because there's only 2 glacier biomes on the map. So that's a really good start to give you a direction of where to go if you get an Eva quest. After that, I then select my actual quest that I want to do. I'm looking for, Harshest Winter, or Rock Solid, or Witch Hunt. Easy to complete quests that aren't going to really require too much on my part to complete. They kind of like happen passively, and I just need to turn them in. From there, I go to Blacksmith. I upgrade him to level 2. And I get myself 2 Raider 1 axes and 2 Raider 2 axes. That's usually my start. Sometimes I need to be flexible. I might not have the right souls. I might not have the right materials, so I need to be willing to be flexible. Sometimes I've been to the Land of Pools and I have silver, and I can go and get, a silver pickaxe sometimes, or I can get a Raider 3 straight away. It's all about the run and how it's going and the souls you have, and being flexible with that. In this run, I had really good RNG with barricades, so I already have the materials I need to do quarry. So I need to just make sure that I have enough, I've spent enough souls, and I can still afford the quarry, and then I can go straight there. In a typical run, your Village 1 won't then lead into quarry. You'll probably have to do another trip first, before you actually head out to quarry. So in this case, you'll see me go to quarry, but in a standard run, because I'm at the blacksmith as my last spot of the village, I usually head out in an eastern direction from there because that's where I am. I don't want to go all the way over to the blacksmith and then head back west and go the other way. So it's all about trying to save that time in movement so that you're not doubling back and covering ground you've already travelled. So into Tinker, we upgrade him to level 2 and get those tools as quickly as you can. Again, into the quest board, you'll see me check for Eva. Doesn't look like I have... Oh no, I do have it. Okay, so perfect. So I've got Eva's location. So that was northeast. So I've noted that down in my memory that I need to check northeast. And I do believe that in this run that actually does lead to bridge. Okay, so that's me checking quarry, and it's really convenient that quarry actually is, in the direction I want to leave the village from. That's nice and convenient. So as you can see at the start of the run, I did take a path that was near quarry, but I knew there'd be a path east of quarry, so I've left that unexplored so that I have a direction to go once I've built quarry, which is what I'm doing now. So quarry's now up. So this is now phase 2. and phase 2 is looking for your POIs, your points of interest. The 3 POIs that you need are the Beach Sorcerer, who you will buy hideout frags from. Instead of doing the hideout, it's much faster. I'll go into that in more detail a little later. You need to find the bridge, which we have a potential location for the bridge, which we'll be checking. And we have our quest location. So those are the 3 things that we're looking to find here. You'll see that I reach a desert biome here. I'm not too happy about being in a desert biome right now, so I'll pretty much grab this fast travel and get out of here. As you can see, I had a little trouble resetting my temperature then, so I had to just back out. So what this phase is all about is opening up pretty much every direction you can from the village. You want to try and find a fast travel from every path that leads out of the village, so that once the Jotun spawns, once the Stag spawns, you've got shortcuts to those locations. You don't have to start from the village. So that's basically what you're looking to do in these phases. And right now, I haven't been in Land of Pools. I really want to get into Land of Pools as soon as I can, because I want to have silver tools to upgrade my, to get more materials. I want to get my Raider Axe 3 so I'm stronger. So that's the next thing that I'm kind of looking for as well. It's important to note that with the ancient cores required for the bridge, you'll get 6 from the Jotun that you kill, so you'll need an additional 4. So things like witches, trolls, the war chiefs on the beach, they all drop ancient cores. The witches are the easiest to deal with, so typically you'll need to kill 2 witches, and that'll give you 2 cores each. That'll get you your 10. So the run is just it's very much the same. It's exploring, looking for the ramps, destroying camps, and the big thing to keep note on is tracking your always cutting down stone deposits and picking up flint. That really doesn't stop until very late in the run. I'll go into a little more detail about the specific numbers required later on when it becomes a bit more relevant. For now, it's just collect stone, collect flint, build up your soul count, and find some fast travels. So you can see that I've found pools, so I'm actually not going to travel back home right now. I'm actually going to dip into these pools and have a look for silver. All I need is 6 silver. We talked about this before the run started. I just need 6 silver, 2 for my pickaxe and 4 for both, for a total of my 2 Raider 3 axes. You'll usually get that out of 2 or 3 deposits in solo runs. These goblins are really annoying. You usually just kill them if convenient, but if they're running away, don't go chasing after them. Try to ignore the Lenorm dragons and the trolls. They're just slow. You only kill the trolls if you've got a Raider Axe 3 and you need cores. But it just basically try and get through pools. Pools has the most stone deposits out of any other biome. So it's a great place to really farm the stone count. You can see I'm just ignoring these 2 enemies right here. It's just too slow to take them out, especially when I don't have the Raider Axe 3. So here you can see I've got one of my first POIs, which is my quest. Obviously the easiest one to find because it's marked on the map. But it's very easy to forget to do it. So getting the shrine activated here. If you can just straight up do the quest, even better. I think I can in this situation. I can't remember. It just saves a lot of time. You just don't have to travel back here and do it later. You'll see here, I'm just checking my fur count to see if I can actually complete the quest. And the other thing you just saw me do was drop one of my potions. And that I was just freeing up a potion slot because Harshest Winter drops a health potion, a speed potion as a reward. And I really don't want to miss out on that. If my potion inventory is full, I won't get that speed potion. So I want to make sure I have a free slot for it. There's really no other quest where that's necessary. And it's worth taking that time to drop something with the time that it saves, using your speed potion a little later. I just paused here because we're up to village 2. So now I'm upgrading the village to the maximum that I want it, and then I leave it from there. And that's getting the Tinker to level 3 and the Blacksmith to level 3, and grabbing my Silver Pickaxe and my 2 Raider 3 axes. You'll pretty much be able to do this after your first trip to pools, provided you've played enough for your soul counts to be, up there. It's 500 souls to upgrade to level 3. Important thing to note, if you hadn't got Quarry yet, this segment might be, combined in here. Remember, when you upgrade the Tinker to level 3, you can actually start crafting Cutstone and Wrought Iron if you need a little bit more materials to get that quarry done. So if I hadn't done it, I'd do it now. It wouldn't be the greatest time, but it wouldn't be the end of the world. 10-minute quarry is no big deal. When you get to trying to go for day 3s and early day 4s, you're really only looking for 1 shipment from a quarry. A lot of people play for 2 shipments, and they spend a lot of time just standing around waiting for that second shipment to come in. I'll talk more about what the materials produce from quarry when it gets closer to that part of the run. So you see I just grabbed Silver Pickaxe here, straight over to Blacksmith, and grab the 2 Raider 3 axes. So I'm just checking the map. So I've actually explored every area. I got a pretty good seed where there weren't many paths leading out of the village. So I've explored almost every area. This is my last direction out of the village that I need to explore. So I go and do that now. One thing I might talk about right now is the reason why we upgrade our pickaxes. It actually produces more materials from every deposit you pick up using the pickaxe. So the more you upgrade your tool, the more outcome it gives you. So that's why we upgrade it. We get, when we're cutting stone, we're now getting deposits of anywhere between, say, 3 and 7 stone and 3 and 5 flint, or somewhere around that mark. So it's really worthwhile getting that upgrade, and the quicker you can get it, the better, because as I said, materials can be a real problem for getting an early bridge in a run. So as I said, we're still looking for our 2 POIs, our 2 remaining POIs, our Beach Sorcerer and our Bridge. One good thing to note is that there is a backup to finding those POIs, which is the Forest Sorcerer. If you find the Forest Sorcerer, he can actually sell you maps that lead to other vendors, so other sorcerers and other merchants that you can sell to. And that is extremely worth it. He only sells them for 150 souls, so they're really cheap, and that can just open up your whole game and give you every direction you need to know. So if you find the Forest Sorcerer, that's a great way to really open up your run and find what you need. Another way to find the bridge is the Desert Sorcerer and the Glacier Sorcerer. The Desert Sorcerer reveals the bridge, and the Glacier Sorcerer reveals the lair. Sometimes even when I have the bridge, I'll buy the map from the Glacier Sorcerer to reveal the lair. It just depends how my run's going and how my soul count's going, because that map does cost 1,000 souls. But it can save a lot of time knowing exactly where the lair is once you go past the bridge. The other thing you'll notice is I'm trying to be as optimal as possible with my routing. That's where a lot of time does get lost from beginner runners. Is they go too far out of the way from where they want to go to check things like ramps and that sort of stuff. If a ramp is so far out of the way that you're going to have to double back, it's not worth it. You can see I've just found one of my POIs. I found the Beach Sorcerer, which is really lucky. However, I do get extremely unlucky with the fact that this beach sorcerer doesn't have a shrine on the beach. So I'm going to lose time later in this run having to make the trek back out here to buy the hideout fragments. It's a little bit unfortunate, but it has to be done. I'm just going to pause here and quickly talk about Waystone. Right now, this is a great time to use my Waystone because I've got nowhere to go. So using your Waystone, you probably only get one use of a Waystone throughout an entire run, so it's very important when you do use that. Right now is kind of a scary time for me to be using it, because if I need it later, it's going to be pretty close as to whether it's actually cooled down or not for when I can use it. So you'll see later in the run how that comes into play, but yeah, you really want to time your Waystone so that it's refreshed for the very late game, just before you're heading into the bridge, because there's going to be moments where you want that Waystone. You'll see that later on in the run. So that's 2 out of 3 POIs. All I need to do now is find this last POI, and this is where I remember that I had that northeast location for Eva, which could potentially be the bridge. So I go and check that now. I feel pretty comfortable with my potion count, so I feel safe enough going through the desert. But one thing I do, I think, or I should be doing, is ignoring stone while I'm taking damage. It's just not worth it stopping and taking extra hits all the time. Just ignore the materials in this section and get through to a fast travel. As you can see, Eva did in fact lead to the bridge, so that is all 3 of my POIs done just before the 15-minute mark, which is a really good pace to be on. So what we're up to from here is now all I have to do is make sure that my materials are going to be good for bridge. The map needs to be nice and open so that when stag spawns, I increase my chances of it being in a location I've explored. And then I go after hunting the Jotun. So as you can see, I picked the forest area here to open it up, and potentially it might be a stag location. I didn't realize that this was going to be a really tiny forest location, so that didn't really pay off for me. But once you make a decision, it's really important that you just stick with it. Don't double back and waste time, you know, regretting your decision and changing it up. So one thing I'm going to talk about here is the Jotun always spawns at the 15-minute mark. So it's good to have that knowledge about the time of when it's spawning, so you can plan your run around that. And the stag appears to be spawning quite consistently around the 22-minute mark now. So those 2 times are really important to note. Now, as I talked about before, knowing what you get out of quarry and what materials are required to craft cutstone and that sort of stuff is really important here. You can save so much time knowing exactly how many cutstone you're actually going to craft, rather than just keeping your fingers crossed and hoping for the best. Because once you hit that number, you can just start running. You don't have to stop and chop stone anymore. You free run. You open up so much more of the map so much quicker. So I'm going to go into that now. What the quarry gives you is 9 cutstone and 9 wrought iron, but it also gives you 39 of stone, flint, iron, and ore, and those can be crafted into more cutstone and wrought iron. So the math ends up working out to be about 14 cutstone and 13 wrought iron that you can get from the quarry shipment. So you can see that there's a profit from just one shipment as to what you put in the quarry. So that's why it's worth. People talk about quarryless, but there's a profit after 10 minutes, so it's worth doing. Now, the very first thing I do, wrought iron normally sorts itself out. If I have a mediocre run that's had a decent amount of barricades, wrought iron's going to sort itself out, and I don't need to cut any iron whatsoever throughout the run. If I've got a bit of a bad seed where the barricades have been quite poor, I may have to consider starting to cut some iron just to be on the safe side. So what I will do with my cut stone count is check my cut stone count, and you'll see me do that a little later on in the run. Check my cut stone count, and I add 14 to that. And that's what I currently have, plus what I'm going to get from the quarry shipment. Then I need to figure out how many more I need to craft. So let's say, for example, that I have 11 cut stone on me. I'm going to get an extra 14 from my quarry shipment. That puts me at 25. So I need an extra 25 cut stone. The math for what crafting is, it's 8 stone and 6 flint to get 1 cut stone. So that works out, in order to get 25 cut stone, you need 200 stone. Okay? The flint required is always 75% of the number you need for stone. So in this example I'm using, it's 200 stone and 150 flint. Okay? And for every 40 stone, it gives you an extra 5 cut stone. The number that you usually need in an average run is anywhere between 160 stone and 200 stone. So 160 stone gets you 20 cut stone. Okay, 200 stone gets you 25 cut stone. So I use those numbers and I run off that. If I need a little bit less or more, I just add the extra I need. So let's say that I don't need 25 cut stone, I only need 24. Well, each cut stone costs 8 stone, so I will subtract 8 from that 200 number. I don't want to go too much into the maths part. Maths might not be your stronger suit, so don't stress too much about it. Just use those benchmark numbers. Just use 160 stone gets you 20 cut stone, and 200 stone gets you 25 cut stone. If you use those numbers and you get yourself in that ballpark figure, you'll be totally fine. You'll know exactly when to stop. Even if you craft a little extra because you're unsure, that's fine. But once you get really confident with it and really comfortable, you can save a ton of time just from knowing that. Almost died there. As I said, Lenorms can be a real problem. I don't want to waste time fighting them. I just want to get out of there. They are notorious for killing runs. So you'll see my stone count. I'm 167. I just missed how much cut stone I had, so I can't do the numbers for you. But yeah, 160 stone is getting me pretty close. So I know I'm getting very close to that number where I can just stop. I actually do talk about it on stream, but the volume I think will probably be too low to hear it. So 17 cut stone. So plus 14 gets me 31. I know that 20, I need 160 stone, so I just take 8 off. So all I need is 152 stone, and I believe I already have that number. So I think I might just need flint, or I might be absolutely fine. You can see I'm ignoring that stone now, so yeah, I'm good now. I'm confident that I have the materials required. I can run past it. I don't have to waste time cutting it. So now I'm up to the phase of let's kill the Jotun, because that's the next step. Just quickly before we continue on, the last thing I need to be, the very last thing I have to consider is my soul count good? And this is where people can lose a lot of time, because they'll overdo it in how many souls they need. And when they finish the run, they'll have like 6,000 spare souls on them, and all that time was wasted when it could have just been exploring and opening up the map. So again, a little bit of math. If it's not your strong suit, I apologize. I'll try and break it down as simply as I can for you. In the run, once you've done village phase 1 and 2 and upgraded your villages and you've done the quarry, after that we talk about the souls that you need. So you'll need a total of 10,000 souls from that moment to finish the run. 2,500 of those souls will go into the bridge, and the other 7,500 will go into buying 5 hideout frags. They cost 1,500 each, so you'll need 7,500 all up. So, as I said, a total of 10,000 souls needed for endgame. You will get 2,000 souls from the Jotun and the Stag combined, so that's 2,000 right there. If you haven't done your quest, you'll get anywhere between, say, 250 and 500. I usually don't include that in my maths, though. Then the last thing you do, typically, just before you're about to build the bridge, is sell all your materials other than the materials required for the bridge. So that's other than the ancient cores, the cut stone, and the wrought iron. You sell everything you have. If during the run you've been picking up almost every loot drop that's been available, excluding the ones that are just a bit inconvenient to get out of the way, like don't double back and waste time getting those ones. But let's say you pick up 95% of the loot drops that happen throughout the run. You will sell on an average run, I'd say 95% of the time, you'll sell between 5,000 and 6,000 souls. So that is a huge amount of souls. If you add, let's say for the benefit of the doubt, you only get 5,000. You get 2,000 from the Jotun and Stag. That puts you at 7,000 souls. Okay, so all you need outside of that is 3,000 souls. Okay, if you want to play safe, get yourself to 4,000 or 3,500. I play a little bit more dangerously. I try to hit the 3,000 mark and no more. Unless I'm really scared, then sometimes I'll play it safe. But more often than not, anywhere between 2,000 and 3,000 is good. So once you hit that 3,000 mark, or if you want to play safe and you want to go to 4,000, once you hit that mark, stop doing camps. Just stop doing camps. I see a lot of runners do go to ruins. That's a huge time waste. It's so slow to get up to a ruins, to build the ramps, to take the 5 seconds to open the chest. Half the time your potion inventory is full, so you're dropping potions to pick up the souls potions. It's a whole lot of time wasted. Just get your souls from doing camps in forest biomes. You will get plenty of souls just from those areas. Okay, the large camps are great. You get 1,000 souls from a large camp. I think it's like 500 from a medium camp and like 300 from a small. So there's plenty of souls to be had in those biomes alone. You don't need to do ruins, and you don't need to go overboard on the souls. Okay, so I'm at 2,000 souls right now. I would feel comfortable getting myself another 1,000 souls. Okay, so I believe I have the Reckless Roll ability here. I'm not going to do it near water because I've thrown so many runs from rolling into water. But once I'm past this area, you'll probably see me. Yeah, see, I start applying the roll so that you can see that I'm not copping as much damage. I'm still taking frost damage, but it's every 2 seconds instead of every 1 second with that roll. Again, be careful around these water areas. You can easily just roll into a little gap or something and drown and lose the run. You can see I'm just ignoring stone, but this is this large camp that I'm looking for. This will give me 1,000 souls. Okay, so even though I might be okay on souls right now, I'm not convinced that I am, and I think it's worth the time it takes to be safe and hit this camp right here. And then after that, I'm completely set. I just need to kill Jotun, find Stag, sorry, and buy more hideout frags, and I'm good to go. Sometimes those enemies from different biomes will get stuck in these large camps. You can see me reacting to it then. That's, I don't know, a bit kind of strange. There's another one right there. I'm really happy that they just ignore me, because they're definitely a lot stronger than the other enemies in this biome. So there we go. I've got over 3,000 souls. Soul count is fine. Let's go and hunt down Jotun, and then we're looking for Stag spawn, and we go into what I like to call like a go mode or late game rush. And this is a great example of me being confident on my materials. There's a barricade right there. I don't even bother with it. I'm that confident that I have the materials required. I'm not going to waste my time on it. These speed effigies are really useful in these biomes as well. Especially like this is such a dangerous fight for me. Because I'm taking damage at every single tick while fighting this Jotun. So you got to be really careful and just be confident in your own ability. If you're not, then you know, just let the Jotun come out of this biome before attacking. Sometimes you don't have a choice though if you're trying to go fast. So quick kill. So from here, I need to get myself back to a shrine to get out of here. I'm just at this stage. I'm a little bit panicked. I'm not sure where to go, so I just get out of the biome so I can stop taking damage and have a look, and then I make my decision. You can see this is quite convenient as well. I'm going to a shrine that has a merchant, and this is where I'm going to sell all my materials. Again, I actually haven't crafted the materials required for the bridge yet. That's the cutstone and the wrought iron. So I've got to be very careful when I'm selling my materials that I don't sell the stone and the flint and the iron and the ore. And I actually do make an almost a run-ending mistake here. I accidentally sell my iron, but I'm just very fortunate that throughout the run I gathered enough wrought iron that the quarry shipment is going to take me over. I don't actually need to craft any wrought iron. If I needed to craft wrought iron, I would have lost the run from this mistake. So yeah, pretty straightforward, just selling everything. You can see that's where I made the mistake. And just spam that sell button, being as careful as you can. It is ideal to craft your materials with a tinker before selling. That way you don't run that risk of accidentally selling anything you really need. The cutstone and wrought iron are really easy to spot with their icons, so it's much faster to sell. You don't have to play as cautious. But this was faster in this scenario because the shrine I was at had a merchant. So I do it now rather than having a back and forth trip and losing some time. So this is where we go back to the village. We go to the chest and get our materials. And head to the tinker and craft the materials required for the bridge. So you'll see that my math has worked out pretty much perfect. Like, I've got exactly the materials required, so really useful for you to know that. Now, this is a very interesting situation. I don't get many runs where I get myself in this position where the stag hasn't spawned yet, and I've kind of got dead time right now. I've got about 20 seconds of dead time, and I could do two things. I could go and do the beach sorcerer, or I could go and open up the bridge and try and get the lair. That's kind of where speedrunning is getting to, at least at world record pace, is getting the bridge done and opening up the lair before the stag comes. That's the next step. We haven't quite got to it yet, but we're getting close. So here, I've got a little bit of time. I know that putting souls in the bridge is really slow, so I go and do that now, so that I'm not just standing around doing nothing. You do see that it's very often you get a bridge in a harsh biome with temperature damage, as I do here, and I almost die building the bridge, which is insane. And in a typical run, I am stocked to the limit with health potions. In this run, for whatever reason, I had no health potions. That was my last potion I popped, and I now have no health potions for the rest of the run, and this is such a scary situation to be in. It's very difficult to get through Fenrir without using any health potions, and even to the lair itself. One important thing to note about the stag is the very first stag that spawns in a game will always be in the forest biome. So that's why I spoke about earlier is getting forest shrines unlocked. That's to benefit yourself for the potential stag location. So, and the other big thing to note is the stag has a huge radius, and he can be anywhere in that radius. More often than not, the stag is where the icon is, but not always. But the stag will always be on ground floor. So if you're in a forest biome that has a ramp that leads up to a higher level, the stag will never be up there. The stag is always on the lowest level in the forest biome, so that can really narrow down your search area. So this was a really easy stag location for me. You can see it's such a small area that it can possibly be, and knowing that it can't be on the upper level, there's a very tiny, radius that the stag can actually be in. So that was a good find for me. And from here, it's simply just off to the beach sorcerer, and then off we go to find the lair and fight Fenrir. So, this is where I'll remember that, I didn't get a shrine for my beach sorcerer, and I knew that was going to cost me time. I had forgotten about it. So I've got a little bit of a run here, but I get extremely fortunate. You remember when I had to use my waystone last time I was at the beach sorcerer, and I spoke about the cooldown time and it being quite, sus, whether it was going to be right or not. My waystone hasn't cooled down yet, and I get really lucky. It actually cools down just as I finish buying the frag, so the timing could not be better. So again, it's really important to plan that out with your waystone. As I said, it's just ticked over then, and couldn't be more perfect. Okay, so we're ready to go and find the lair. The lair is a guessing game, although I'm quite fortunate there. The lair is actually slightly revealed from me exploring. But there's no way other than using the Glacier Sorcerer to tell you exactly where the lair is. It's a guessing game. Paths, you can see here, paths don't necessarily lead to the lair. It can be anywhere. Just try and pick the area where it looks like most of the glacier is, and see if you get lucky. If it starts looking like it's not going to be it, then maybe turn around and go back the other way. But look for shrines. They're your indicator as to where a lair might be. Okay, so with the mid-season update, there's two variations of Fenrir. There's Doom Howler and there's Wolfmancer. You can tell right away which one you're getting by the color of the lair. You can see I've got purple writing on the lair, so I'm getting Wolfmancer. Wolfmancer is purple. If it's red writing, that means you're getting Doom Howler. Doom Howler is the original Fenrir from, pre 1.5. Wolfmancer is the new one. I'll talk about Doom Howler first because we're not actually going to see him. But Doom Howler is the harder of the two. Well, not necessarily the harder, but he's the slower of the two. In terms of average times for me, Wolfmancer is 30 seconds quicker. It takes me about a minute and a half on an average run to kill Wolfmancer, as opposed to about 2 minutes with Doom Howler. The reason it takes longer is because of Doom Howler's Howl ability. The Howl slows you down. You've got to get out of the fighting area, go to his tail, and start doing damage again. It just adds up, taking time. And with Doom Howler's new attack ability, with his new special Howl, it's made things significantly harder. You can still get to his tail and do damage, but you've got to be really careful, because if he does that ability and you're right underneath him, you cop every single one of those. That's where all of his, missiles start protruding from. So you cop all of those at once, you're insta-dead. So you've kind of got to be anticipating it once his health gets down to halfway, but you still want to try and get out to the tail. It does work out that his tail will always be available. Like, the missiles won't be, if you stand right next to his tail, you'll be fine. You've just got to get the hang of it, I guess. But with Wolfmancer, it's a lot easier. He has no Howl ability, so you can just stay underneath him and go to town with your Raider Axe 3 swirl ability. So much easier, but you will cop damage against Wolfhouser. You can do Doomhowler without copping any damage. Wolfmancer will give you damage because of the minions that he spawns. These little mini-bosses, I can't remember their names. They will do damage. If I hadn't got the Like a Dwarf rune, which you can see in the bottom right, I would have lost this run, because I don't have health potions. If I didn't have Like a Dwarf and I didn't have that extra 150 armor, I would have needed health potions. I got extremely lucky. I actually forgot during this run that I had Like a Dwarf, so I thought the run was over. But yeah, it's important to note that you will need health potions for Wolfmancer if you don't have that Like a Dwarf rune. But let's go into it. The typical strategy for fighting both the Fenrir variations is get yourself right underneath him. Right underneath his belly, closer to the back of his legs, and you just spam your swirl ability non-stop, all over. It's important to note, just quickly, I'll stop here for 1 second, you really want to have 2 mana potions going into this fight. The mana potions will keep boosting up your mana bar so that you can keep doing the swirl ability. And they won't, the 2 of them usually won't last across the whole fight, so you got to time them quite well. With Wolfmancer, it's very easy to get the timing. It's pop the first one as Wolfmancer comes out, and pop the second one as he summons his minions, so that you're maximizing how often you can get your swirl ability off to kill those minions faster. Doomhowler's a little different. You still pop your first one right at the beginning, but the second one is touch and go. There's no real cue on when to use it. I like to just use it as soon as my first one has run out, and then just my late game fight is a little bit slow because the mana's run out. But you'll find what works for you. That's just what works for me. So here, after you do this boulder, you apply whatever blessings you have left to apply, and then position yourself at the front of the circle. Except I didn't do it this run. And just go as crazy as you can on him. You can see I'm just right underneath his belly. None of his attacks will hit me, except for his front paw slam. This one. You have to roll on that one if you're positioning where I position myself. Every other ability misses, except that one. So you need to be very careful and roll for that ability if you're towards the front of his paws. So this one again. I'm in a safe position. I'm at his back leg, so I don't need to roll there. But anywhere else, and you've got to be really careful. You can see the minions are about to come, so I've popped that second mana potion now, and as you can see, I'm going to take damage, but Like a Dwarf saves my run here. Okay, so I would have been dead if Like a Dwarf wasn't there, with no health potions. So this nice and simple. Just finish off the run from here, stay underneath, keep spamming that swirl ability until you get the kill. And easy does it. You can see I'm very happy. This is a really good time for 1.5. It's not the overall world record, but we do consider it so. With each new version that comes out, there's slight changes, there's difficulty increases or things like that. So yeah, this is the fastest time as of posting this video that anyone has beat this game in 1.5. So really good time, really happy with that sort of stuff. So yeah, look, that's the tutorial. I hope this was helpful to people. I know it's a little long. I know I paused the video and talk a bit. There's so much detail to cover in this game that a lot of people are just missing. So I thought I'll run this commentary over this video and break it down play by play about what I do. And hopefully that can help a lot of people out. Even if you're, you know, at day 8 at the moment, applying some of these things, and you'll get to day 5 in no time. And then if you're interested and you want to get into speedrunning, you'll have a day 4 before you know it, for sure. And then it's just grinding and getting better and better at the game and understanding how to optimize your routing. That you'll figure out how to get yourself a day 3. So that's it for the tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Leave a comment if it helped you. I'll link my Twitch in the description. Come and jump in, give me a follow. and watch me do some runs as I try and grind this time down. And if you're interested in getting into speedrunning, definitely get in touch with me. We do have a Discord, which I'll also link in the description. It's not just for speedrunners, it's for members of the community, whether it's people that are watching streams, people that play the game for fun, or people that are in speedrunning. We've got channels in the server for everything. You wanting some help, it's the best place to be to talk to people that are actually playing the game and can give you some advice. We've also got it set up so that maybe we can even get into some community games and play some lobbies together and that sort of thing. I think, you know, with the game is meant for 10 players, but it's so hard to play with random people that don't know what they're doing. So to get yourself into a 10-man lobby with people that, you know, are actually in it to play the game, enjoy it, and getting a voice call together, I think that'd be really cool. So if any of that interests you, definitely jump into the Discord server and say hi. But yeah, that's it for me. Hopefully you guys can get a day 3 soon. As I said, I'm Hyper, and I'll catch you guys next time.